plus an awesome mix of urban hits up in there.
Can you feel that, buddy? Huh?
All day, every day.
Yeah.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. And now, Financial Renaissance with the M's.
Good morning, financial knowledge seekers. Thank you for joining us today on Financial Renaissance with the M's. I am your host, Emma Foulkes, and I am so happy that you are joining us this Sunday morning on Sensation Station Network. Man, what a great week it has been. I have to say, I want to thank everyone who has reached out to me and my wife. We were featured in an article in the Georgia Voice this past week, and you know, in the interview that they did with us, I guess we were both really tired, and when you're really tired, sometimes you don't feel like being politically correct or really even caring about, you know, what you're saying, because you're tired, right? So that's what we did. We talked about, you know, one, we were not the first LGBTQIA couple to get married in the country. We were the first couple to get married after the Supreme Court ruling. So we were in the judges' chambers immediately after the Supreme Court ruling, so we were able to become the first couple in the country to get married. And you know, there was a lot of people that got married before us, and you know, kudos to you. We could have gotten married before that date, but we decided not to because although we loved each other and we'd been together for, you know, up until that point, 10 years, we had even thought about, you know, going to another state to get married. And we decided not to because although it was legal in other states, it wasn't legal here in Georgia. And so if we had gotten married in another state and, you know, God forbid, something happened and we did not want to be together anymore, there was no way for us to dissolve that marriage. So the Supreme Court ruling of making, you know, gay marriage legal meant that you have the right to get married and you have the right to get divorced. So technically, we were the first couple that had the right to get married and divorced in any state in the country, if that makes some of you feel better. So in the article, which, you know, now that I'm reading it, I'm cracking up because what they really wanted to know about us was, you know, what's changed since you've been married? And people always say things change after you get married. And I love my wife's quote, you know, marriage isn't a Disney store where everything will always be perfect. And we're far from perfect. If you know us, you know, I'm a Gemini and my wife is a Scorpio. There is no way that there is perfection going on in that house, okay? It is a comedy of errors, and my wife has a lot of patience, a whole lot of patience with me because I'm always all over the place, and I appreciate her. But one of the things that I will say, we do take marriage and we do take our vows very serious. One of the things that happen after our marriage, you know, usually when they say when people get married, you know, certain things slack off. But with us, things changed in the opposite direction. Our love grew deeper. We, you know, had gone through a lot of adversity. Lots of things happened personally to us and to our family members. And what ended up happening is we doubled down for each other, and we learned how to, you know, kind of keep people out of our relationship, people who were, you know, part of our team, you know, our inner circle, we kept them in, and everybody else we just kind of pushed out and, you know, allowed us to heal and do what we needed to do. But we did it from the inside out. We don't allow other people, you know, to kind of get involved in our relationship or even have an opinion. I love being married. The only thing I don't like about it is my wife doesn't think that I'm perfect. But that's something that, you know, I'm still working on her about. But listen up, on today's show, we're going to be talking about the top five financial stories of the week, and I'm going to teach you how to teach your kids to appreciate and respect money. It's Financial Literacy Month, and we're going to kick off the show with your top 5 financial tips to get your financial house in order, on the way in 300 seconds.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win the Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ. And He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Honey, what you cook for dinner tonight?
Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
The bad news first.
I cooked nothing.
Well, that's the good news then.
Uh-huh. Well, there's no bad news then, because tonight we're going to have Jerk Palace.
Call Jerk Palace for authentic Caribbean cuisine, including vegetarian entrees with authentic Caribbean flavor. Call 770-892-5049. Located at 6221 Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 in Morrow, Georgia. Jerk Palace.
If you have the questions, we have the answers.
Right.
Go to ssnatl.com and click on the Contact tab. As much as you like. We're the nation's urban station. Online. ssnatl.com.
And we are back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. We are streaming live on ssnatl.com, or you can watch us live here in the studio on Facebook Live. We're streaming at Sensation Station Network, or if you're at your computer right now, you can go to facebook.com/NotDumbedDown. And we are joined by the co-hostess with the mostest, Mr. M. Sound like a James Bond villain.
I feel like one sometimes. On Sunday morning, I missed this.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me. I thought you were going to lock the door. Y'all did lock the door.
We did lock the door. I was
like, can I get the code?
He's not here by such and such. do like my grandmother used to do us. You walk out of the house without asking for permission. You can't get back in without permission.
Well, thank you for doing your greatness these past few weeks. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
How you been, man?
Get back in her good graces. No, I'm good. I'm great. A lot of great things going on.
You've been all over the world.
I've been
all over the country.
I know I've been in Charlotte a lot.
Yeah, Southeast region.
Yeah, but it's been cool. But I've been watching.
I know. I know. I see your thumbs up.
I saw another co-host got Keiko, a little young co-host.
The little 1-year-old. Yeah, buddy.
She was rocking it. I said, okay.
She's gonna be something, man.
Hey, I know you talked about it in the intro, but I just, I didn't know about. I knew about you and your wife, of course.
You knew we were awesome.
But I didn't know y'all were that awesome. But that's pretty cool reading that article. My only question is with that was, you seemed like you were determined to get that the minute it was passed to get married.
It was it was one of those things where, again, we wanted to get married. We went on vacation. We went someplace to get married, and we decided not to because our son was still in college.
Right.
And we were like, oh, if we get married without him being present, right. You met my son, right.
I can tell.
He would guilt me to the day I die. Like, oh, you want me to cut the grass, but I couldn't be at your wedding. That petty type of stuff. He's a Capricorn, petty.
Yeah.
So, we had strong reservations about being married in a state that wouldn't recognize our marriage,
right.
Living here. So we were almost at the point we were talking about possibly relocating away from Georgia.
Wow.
Because if Georgia didn't respect our marriage, then they should not want to use my tax dollars.
Right, exactly.
You feel me?
I feel you.
So we were having some pretty deep conversations about, just respect and who we are and what we provided to this country. And if you don't respect us through and through, then you don't deserve our money through and through,
I think that's what's important. I like that, what you just said about you can take my money, but you don't respect my marriage or my union.
Right. And that goes with everything, as a woman of color, as a veteran, as everything that I am. I think I'm like 5 things, LGBT, minority, a woman, a vet, a disabled vet, If you don't respect our money, then you don't need our money.
Right.
If you don't respect me, I don't have to spend my dollars with you.
I think people need to realize that, because money, green is the color.
Hey, 1.3 trillion.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying.
And
if we combine the black and the brown, we're talking about almost $3 to $4 trillion. So watch your mouth.
Yeah. Respect the green.
Respect the green.
Yeah. So, but just, do you ever think about it though? That you were the first couple?
No, because believe it or not, I am an introvert.
Really?
I think someone taught me the word ambivert. So when I'm not in the house, right? But but it drains me. Okay. And so that day, there were so many people. Like, we wish our parents were there. That was the one thing that really bothered me. My mother wasn't there. Trina's mother wasn't there, and they really wanted to be there.
Right.
And I had robbed my mom. This is the second wedding I've had where she wasn't there. And so I was feeling,
Your mom probably, is it me?
Right. So shout out to Mom. I hope you're watching today. I promise I won't embarrass you today. And so it became overwhelming. There were, I'm not used to having cameras in my face and microphones and people watching every reaction. I'm a Gemini, so how I feel needs to be for me.
You know Gemini what I mean? Too. What is this about Gemini? I got my daughter's a Gemini.
Ooh, who is she this morning when she woke up?
I don't know. Right. Both of them. One's a May Gemini, one's a June Gemini.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, I feel for you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel bad.
Well, congratulations. That's a great article, man. I think everybody should be able to see.
Thank you.
Been married 21 years, and I know you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, we're going on 14 years together.
Double digits.
But still to come, we're going to talk about which company needs to take a financial fallback and repent for $35 million worth of sinning, and also we will be talking about our 5 ways to clean up your financial house.
Get ready.
On Financial Renaissance.
Honey, what you cook for dinner tonight?
Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
The bad news first.
I cooked nothing.
Well, that's the good news then.
Well, there's no bad news then, because tonight we're we're gonna have Jerk Palace!
Call Jerk Palace for authentic Caribbean cuisine, including vegetarian entrees with authentic Caribbean flavor. Call 770-892-5049. Located at 6221 Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 in Morrow, Georgia. Jerk Palace.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win the Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, talk, touch their hair. Details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones we carry with us every day. Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Don't just sing the song. I'm living my best life. Do it. And we're here to help with Smart Talk. From programs like this, your nation's urban station, online on ssnatl.com.
All right, you are streaming with Financial Renaissance with the M's. Listen, this is going to be an exciting show today. So go ahead and log on to our Facebook page. We're streaming live on Facebook on Sensation Station Network. Go ahead and throw your comments in. I will be answering most civil questions today. You can also join in the conversation, Aunt Grace, by texting us at 678-613-5857. My auntie can't figure out how to use Facebook.
So she texts.
Yeah, she could text us. You know. And Jennifer, this is for you. We're gonna be washing down the walls. It's spring cleaning time. Washing down the walls and beating out them rugs.
I'm sure I have a conversation when I get home.
Oh yeah, this is all for you, buddy. I did that. I put this together with you in mind. I want to make your household stronger. I want to make your marriage, enrich your marriage.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So listen, man.
That's the phrase we're going with.
Yes, that's the phrase we're going with. It is financial. Tomorrow kicks off Financial Literacy Month, and what we're going to do for the month of April is we are going to have steps that you can take for the next 30 days to get your financial house in order. It is extremely important that we do that. If we look at all the signs and symptoms of the economy, I was at a conference last week and they said you're either in a recession or about to be in a recession. Wow. And if you just kind of keep your mindset like that, you'll understand how important it is to, get your finances in order, because if you remember what happened during the last recession, it wasn't a pleasant experience for a lot of us.
No, it was not.
So hopefully the recession, when we do end up in one, and usually you don't know you're in one until you're in one. So it's not like, oh, tomorrow the recession starts. So let me ask you this.
I've never heard it say that like
yes.
that.
What do you think should be the first step that people should take to kind of get their financial house in order? What would your wife say?
She probably like know your finances, know what all of them are. Because some people go in and just say, I think I owe this bill, or how much is this worth, or how much do I owe? I think sometimes just knowing. Yeah, to me, and to me, the first step should always be to make the decision. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Because we all know, but like, sit down, like, make the decision. Like, and I've always said, that families need to have financial meetings. Yeah. Right. Payday eve. You need to sit down but the biggest thing is to just make the decision like, hey, baby, we want to get on top. We want to be ahead of this. We want to set our kids up. We want to set our nieces, nephews, grandbabies, whoever. We want to set them up right. Make the decision. And it's hard sometimes to just do right. Especially when there's so many other things coming at you. And it's not that people aren't doing the right things because they're just bad people. When the money is funny, it's hard to prioritize. How often do you see that a lot of the financial situations are just because they're not planning correctly?
I'm going to say it's about 50-50 at this point. When I first started in the industry about almost 20 years ago, there were people who just really tricked off with their money. Right. Oh, can I say tricked off on the air?
That's good.
Okay. All right,
we'll get it with.
All right, thanks. Who just kind of...
Somebody didn't raise their eyebrows, so I think we're good.
But what I've seen, like, over the last, 10 years has been people's budgets getting tighter. So if you were used to getting nice bonuses, if you were used to your income going up about 6% a year every year, and you were used to taking your family, on vacation and doing all this cool stuff, and then all of a sudden the money's funny. You remember that movie, what was it, Vacation, Christmas Vacation? Remember when he didn't get his check? Yeah. When he didn't get his bonus, what happened? Right. Dude, like, kidnapped.
Yeah, he went crazy.
He went crazy for a minute. Right. But we're not allowed to do that, but that's how a lot of us, end up feeling. So the biggest thing is, as he said, think about, your household. Think about how you really want to live. Think about how you want to feel when it comes to financial matters. That's the biggest thing. If you're feeling guilty or if it's causing you any type of stress, just so set a goal for yourself. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore because we're all one paycheck away from financial disaster, a lot of us. Right. And it's too much stress on the heart. Right. And I know you've been seeing it. There's a lot of people. Luke Perry died. Yeah. Dude, I'll be on the treadmill. Like, I gotta be heart smart now, right? Yeah. So the biggest thing when you think about getting your finances in order, think about the 80-20 rule, or I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna say the 20-80 rule. Okay. 20% of what you do will impact 80% of the outcome. Okay. So just in that right there is, hey, we just need to do a little bit to have that greater ripple effect. Okay. So the biggest thing is, sit down. If you're single, sit down with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it payday eve. Put it in your calendar. I have date night with myself. So in 250 seconds, we're going to explore the 5 tips to make the kids in your life financial dynamos, and we're going to continue 5 financial things that you need to work on for the rest of this week on Financial Renaissance with the M's.
Honey, what you cook for dinner tonight?
Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
The bad news first.
I cooked nothing.
Well, that's the good news then.
Well, there's no bad news then because tonight we're gonna have Jerk Palace.
Call Jerk Palace for authentic Caribbean cuisine, including vegetarian entrees with authentic Caribbean flavor. Call 770-892-5049. Located at 6221 Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 in Morrow, Georgia. Jerk Palace.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
It is Sean Prime from Inside the Loop with myself and Brenna B, and I've been talking about Jeans Body Tech for a minute simply because it's a premier gym in a pristine spot without a premium price. All the weight you need, all the machines you want, free parking, all in Buckhead. Come on, it's crazy. 700 Miami Circle is where you want to work out today. And for those who are feeling a little bit down because you may not have followed through on the healthy New Year resolution thing, hey, it's still the new year. You can start today. Look at yourself a year from now and hello, is that you? Because you're looking good, like snack-like. Yes, you are. 700 Miami Circle, or go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech, also known as JBT Fitness. Either way, $49 is nothing to pay to feel your best every day.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Text us your shout-outs and requests to 678-613-585-7. Radio, knock them down.
Whether it's the weekend or weekday, there's always something sensational happening on SSNATL.com.
Watch out!
Radio not dumbed down since day one.
And we are building our financial house this morning on Financial Renaissance with the M's. Go ahead and join in on the conversation on Facebook at Sensation Station Network. Throw your comments, and you can also text us, pull out that old two-way, and you can text us at 678-613-5857. And before the break, we were talking about the first thing that you need to do to get your financial house in order, and that is just make that decision. Put a reminder in your calendar, payday eve, to discuss what's going to happen with your money once the paycheck hits your bank account. The next thing is to really take inventory of what you have coming in and what you have going out. And there's an NFL player who plays for the Jets who's teaching a financial literacy class at the University of Pennsylvania, and he strongly suggests not even bringing income into the picture until you have a handle on your expenses.
That makes sense.
Right. And so he's looking at, so another thing people are, because I went through a whole bunch of different, articles to make sure it's not just what's up in my head, you have to, it's all about changing your behavior.
Right.
And it's a very difficult thing to change your behavior. We're human beings, we're resistant to change. I mean, you look at what's happening in our country today, and a lot of that is because people don't want to change.
And one thing you talk about that young man that played for the Jets, he's 90% of his money he don't spend.
Correct.
He only spends 10% of his salary, which allows him to, like you said, he looked at what he had and what he could do, and now he's teaching the class.
Yes, now he's teaching the class, and he's financially astute. I mean, this guy's a financial wizard.
Yeah.
But your behavior, if you just start watching your behavior, as you start tracking your expenses, not making any changes. So this week, I just want you to look at what you're doing. Just pay attention to what you're doing. You'll be amazed how likely you are to kind of pull back on spending from just watching. And I suggest that you write stuff down. You get that old composition notebook, old school pencil to paper, and write it down, because it does something in your brain. And one of the best things that I've seen out there was an article in MarketWatch.com that suggests that you pretend that you are eliminating all of your expenses. So just clean the slate. You're beginning with zero.
Right.
And the goal is to gradually just add back expenses, but add back the expenses that you love, you need, and then, until you reach a workable budget. So start with what you like first. Another thing that I'll suggest is...
That's dope.
Yeah, go with what you love first. Start with that, and then just kind of list everything down. For me, it's going to be things like, eating dinner or ordering Instacart. I hate grocery shopping. But the other thing is to kind of get up in those hidden folds of your expenses. You know, mine is my Apple account. My wife, my son, my niece, probably 2 nieces are on my Apple account, and I you know, the thing comes up on my phone while I'm in the middle of a meeting. Oh, you just spent $12.99, and I'm thinking, well, what? Who was that? You know, I see a name. Who was that?
Yeah.
And I never remember to go back and look. And I don't remember to even call the kids and say, what did you do? Or by the time I do, you know, hit them up with, hey, stop spending on my account.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't really need that, and such and such and such. That was a mistake. And I never go back to make sure that it's been taken off my account. So go through all of the subscriptions that you have. Go through everything that you have. Just look at it. Not saying don't make any changes this week. Just look at what you have. And, you know, also you want to kind of look at what you've done for the last 90 days. Just look at all the spending that you had for the last 90 days.
For some of y'all, this will be tough.
It will
because you're going to look at some things I really didn't need all that. And you're going to see how much money you spent. You're going to really, like you said, you're now going to see it and be like, I don't really need
Yeah, you can't hide. You can't hide from it, and it's not a good thing or a bad thing. If it happened in the past, it happened. If it happened yesterday, it's in the past.
It's done.
There's no, right, it's done. There's nothing you can do about it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah. So you definitely want to take a look at that, and then the next thing is you want to, you know, clean up your finances, and that's the whole reason that you're going to audit your, you know, just take a look at all your expenses, because you need to shed the money suckers, right? So anything that you really don't need, this is the time where you're going to kind of like, hey, I don't really need this, you know, blah, blah, blah. So the critical first step in improving your finances is really just keeping an eye on what you're spending. What are your spending habits? You know, some people, when they have a stressful day at work, they end up doing retail therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They need something that's going to make them feel good. And I get it. You know, I work for myself, so I don't know what it's like to get upset at my boss, but I do get upset with myself a lot. You know, as my wife says, there's like 6 people up here. We argue all the time.
Which one? You're going to get it today.
Right. And so you want to look at your finances. You want to look at what your spending habits really are. And once you figure out, you know, where your money's going, then you can also figure out areas that you can cut back and save. So
it makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of people in today's time don't know where their money is going.
Yeah,
you're just spending.
A lot of stuff happens digitally. You know, Apple Pay, boom. I'm at you know, the store across the street from my job. I'm hungry, bam.
And, you know, like you say, retail therapy. People use other therapy as well, like restaurants and bars and things like that. So you just swipe the card.
And the Jordan guys.
Yeah, so you just swipe the card and just keep it moving.
Yeah.
And I always think that's been something too in today's time. They're making it more easier and easier the way to spend your money now and swipe your cards. And like you said, Apple Pay.
Apple Pay.
And you tap
Google
the phone.
Pay.
Yeah, you just tap your phone.
You don't even have to know. Is anything in my bank account? Let's see.
Let's try. Let's try.
It's like rolling the dice. But you know, when it comes to finances, you know, smooth it out. When it's like saying, you know, hey, you got to go to the doctor, and you know, you got to get that annual physical. And once you're over 40, that annual physical kind of does some, it's a little different. It's a little invasive, you know, very invasive. They give you that little gown with the blood out in the bag, you know, and it's embarrassing. Yeah. And that's how a lot of us feel about our finances. But, you know, when we come back, I'm going to talk about ways that you can make finances romantic. On Financial Renaissance with the M's, we're going to smooth out finances.
Smooth it out for you.
Smooth it out.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. That's safercar.gov/the the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
And we're back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. We are giving our financial houses a proper spring cleaning this morning. And before the break, we talked about how to smooth out your finances, how to make it romantic. Yeah. Dim the lights.
Dim a little bit.
Dim the lights. You can even keep the kids there. Make them uncomfortable. If you're making your kids uncomfortable, you're doing something good.
That's a win.
That's right. Sit down with a bottle of wine, and if you're in a different state, you know, you can hit that MJ. Don't do the edibles because you need to have all your faculties. So, but do something that's going to bring your level of anxiety and your inhibitions and your defensiveness. You know, when you're, especially if it's a couple, when it comes to talking about finances, someone always wants to be right and the other person always has to be wrong. Well, we're not doing that. That's not how you create, you know, a legacy. So go ahead and grab your bottle of wine, have a glass of wine or half a glass of wine before you even start on the conversation. So that way you're in the right mood. And then go ahead and pull out, for the past 3 months, your credit card statements and your bank statements. And then what you're going to do is go through them and you're going to highlight the purchases that brought you happiness or things that you are passionate about. So we're going to start on the opposite end. Okay? We're going to start with what makes us feel good first, and then we're going to work our way down, you know? So that's going to be a little bit different from the ways that, you know, I think you brought up the what did you say? Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Yeah, pay yourself first. And so we are going to look at that, but we're going to do it from a different angle of looking at what brings you happiness first. And then when you're done going through all of your expenses, break them down into about 6 categories. And the 6 categories are going to be housing, food, transportation, going out, clothing, and miscellaneous. You know, and kids fit in that miscellaneous. If you have kids, just make a column for them because they're
their own thing.
they're their own thing. But hey, during my Emmanuel's money segment, I'm going to teach you how to get that money back from them. They're going to have to earn it. Earn the money.
Earn that money.
You ever watched those paper towel commercials? Yeah. Do you notice that the mother is always cleaning up after the husbands and the kids?
I know. I didn't, but I do now. Yeah, like I'm thinking about this one with a fish and the fish.
Yeah.
And she comes right behind him.
I'm like, what is this with parents cleaning up after their kids? Like, that's not how you create responsible little humans.
Yeah, they should be handing them the paper towels.
Yeah, hand them the sponge, hand them the bucket. Like, you made the mess clean. At least give them the first pass at cleaning it up.
Yeah, because they do run away and the mom says,
oh, gosh, you kids just drive me crazy. Yeah, not in my house. I don't get down like that.
It's a lot of screaming. Yeah, you going to pick that up.
That's right. So listen, share this link, share our video on Facebook with your family. We're dropping some gems today. Next up on Financial Renaissance with the M's, we're going to continue talking about how to clean up your financial house.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's. It's time to say.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp. I can probably hit the green from here. Probably. Can I get a mulligan? Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Greater vibes and an awesome mix. It's what weekends should strive to be. So relax. We'll take it from here. Not dumbed down since day one. SSNATL.com.
Not dumbed down from day one.
From day one?
From day one. Nothing boring about this show today. We're exploring different ways to prioritize your spending. We're going to do things a little bit different when it comes to getting ready to start up a budget. We are going to look at also later on our top five financial stories of the week. But right now, we are going to be looking at prioritizing your spending by what you like to do and what you're passionate about first. We all have to swallow this huge budget pill.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what. Like I said, the recession is coming. The recession is coming.
Yeah.
The recession is
All
coming.
of it is rolling over.
The recession is coming. So let's drizzle some maple syrup on this budget pill.
Yeah.
Get ourselves together and you know, let's get ready because our country isn't doing well financially. And, you know, we need to make sure that we are positioning ourselves to take opportunities when the recession does come, that we have some extra cash flow. That should be our come up.
Right.
Right? So we talked about highlighting, going through your credit card statements, your bank statements for the past 3 months. And then you're going to highlight the purchases that brought you happiness or that you were passionate about. Then you're going to take all of your expenses and you're going to split them up into different categories. You know, the 6 I'm suggesting are housing, food, transportation, going out, clothing, and miscellaneous. And then once you do that, I want you to go ahead and give a weight, a passion weight to each of these. So, you know, for me, again, food, I love experience. Food and travel are going to be at the top of my list because I'm most like, I'll do anything to just get on a plane and go somewhere and be in another place. You know, it makes me feel good. So those, I'm going to give those a passion weight of possibly 100%.
Right.
Okay. Fine dining. Well, not fine dining, but just good food.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be expensive. Right. And then those that you care least about, put those at the bottom of the list. Okay, and this is going to give you an excellent visual of how to personally prioritize your spending happiness.
Right.
So this is not, you know, yours, and you and your wife's may be completely different.
Right.
Okay, and that's why it's important that the two of you, you know, do things separately. And then once you go through, you know, your checking statements, your credit card statements, you know, then go ahead and start listing any reoccurring expenses that you can cut out. And list any high expenses that you think could be reduced. So this is where you just, and again, it's just having a conversation, not necessarily slashing or doing anything just yet. Now it's just kind of, hey, let's take a look at this. Where can we increase our, you know, what we have coming in by about 5%? How can we reduce 5% of our expenses? Like start off small.
So you're not saying reduce your love or get rid of what you love to do or love what you
No,
love.
I'm saying keep what you love. Put what you love, make that first.
Yeah.
and then start going down at everything else, and we'll start figuring out, what can you do. The bottom line is you can't manage what you don't measure. Right. And whether you're an athlete, if you're a business owner, no matter what it is that you do, there's some type of metrics to let you know that you're doing the right things. Even if you're a social media geek, how many likes, and, I don't understand all of that. Shout out to Evan. So once you have a clear view of your spending patterns, and this may take a little bit longer than normal, okay? Once you have a clear view of your spending patterns, and the reason why you're going to do it in this way is so that you visualize it. And that's why you're going to highlight it, because we're visual. We're not everybody's a numbers geek and wants to look at spreadsheets. So, take out your notebook or whatever it is that you do, make it pretty, or man cave it up, whatever it is that you do. But once you have a clear view of your spending patterns, then incorporate this knowledge into building a budget that prioritizes the expenses that you're passionate about.
Very important.
So what's going to be your number one?
Food.
Food?
But I like to eat well.
I was like, it's fun. It's and it's not an expensive. It's good food, right? It's an experience.
Cause I got a place where I eat barbecue that's not expensive, but it's good.
Oh man, we went to a barbecue place last week. After this, a place in Buckhead. I was like,
you gotta tell me.
I want potato salad. I was like, would your grandma eat it? The girl was like, no. I was
like, important. If grandma won't eat it.
If your grandma won't eat it, I don't want it.
But yeah, I mean, and that and sporting events,
Yeah.
Things I like to be a part of. So yeah, those would definitely be high.
Yeah, so look at those things. You could say, like, my wife used to love going to Starbucks. So if her spending $100 a month, or hopefully it's not a week, $100 a month on Starbucks.
Starbucks is making a lot of money.
But I don't believe in cutting it out.
Right.
If that's what you need in the morning to get yourself going, then I mean, if you work hard, you deserve a cup of Starbucks if that's what you want.
You need your startup.
Whatever. So whether it's sporting events, whether it's spending money on restaurants, whatever it is, go ahead and make that first.
Yeah.
And on the way, we're going to come back. We're going to tell you a little bit about how to continue digging down, and then also how to make your kids financially responsible on Financial Renaissance important. With the M's.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, talk, touch their hair. Details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones we carry with us every day. Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Honey, what you cook for dinner tonight?
You want the good news or the bad news first?
The bad news first.
I cooked nothing.
Well, that's the good news then.
Uh-huh. Well, there's no bad news then because tonight we're going to have Jerk Palace.
Call Jerk Palace for authentic Caribbean cuisine, including vegetarian entrees with authentic Caribbean flavor. Call 770-892-5049. Located at 6221 Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 in Morrow, Georgia. Jerk Palace.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything. I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor. If making my detox public is going to help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth. Spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDC.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Before the break, I mentioned that it is April, starting tomorrow, will be Financial Literacy Month. So we are talking about ways to clean your financial house. And we were talking about how to segment.
Well, let me do this. Let me give a shout out to Lindy.
Lindy?
Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
Okay.
She changes her name up on social media.
She gave a comment, you can't manage what you can't measure. Love it.
Thank you.
That's what's up. Man, text us, man. You can, on the comments, hit us up. We're going to read them out on the show. And you can call us at 678-613-5857. We're here.
We're here.
To answer these questions. Well, she's here.
I'm here to answer the questions. He's here to look good.
Yeah.
Eminem. That's right. So the bottom line is you want to run your household like a business.
Right.
You know, it is a business. We get married, yes, because we love each other. You are, you know, you work a lot. You know, you're trying to build something. But run your business, run your household like a business, and you know, doing things in a manner in the manner that I was saying, you know, before the break. It's going to force you to have a lifestyle that's designed by you.
Right.
A lot of times, why we're, you know, we go against what we set up is because it doesn't fit what we want. You know, when you work hard, you want a reward. Like, I like rewards. My rewards are Ratchet TV, and you know what I'm saying? It's like little different, yes, different little things. So when you're going through your finances, one of the things I want you to do is now that once you know what your key passions are, you're going to look at cutting expenses from the bottom of your category. So the things that are at the very bottom, you're going to start cutting, making some hard cuts to those. That's where you're going to start, break out that red Sharpie, and you're going to start redlining stuff. So for example, let's look at your rent, right? Not for people with mortgages because it's a different situation, but if your rent is one of your highest fixed costs, then maybe you should think about, and if it's one of your lowest weighted passion categories, maybe you should think about downsizing to a smaller or cheaper apartment. And if it makes sense from a household standpoint, I know a lot of us bought into the, let me get this grandiose house and every kid needs a bedroom. We weren't raised like that. kids had bunk beds in their room, right?
Yep.
So maybe it's downsizing how you live a little bit, or perhaps you may want to think about, like, car notes are a big thing. People buy cars and they don't think about the maintenance. They don't think about the insurance. They don't think about, more than that $350 car payment. $350 car payment could actually be $700 when you add in gas, maintenance, and insurance.
And people don't think of it
And
like
people,
that.
there's other ways, and those silly scooters. How many people have you hit? Almost hit.
They about 50.
Yeah. We don't get points for hitting people on scooters, and it messes up our cars.
And then they look at us like,
yeah.
I'm like, yo.
Yes.
Can't just ride through when you want.
Right. So another thing you can think about, which I know a lot of us have, that's pretty expensive, is our cable bill. And there are many different ways of cutting the cord today, or, you can binge your show a la carte. There's a lot of things you can do to watch movies and to get that programming in. And then
I think people don't really know, because now with the bundle, you're all thinking that you have to put it together and have these huge bills and things of that nature.
And even the cable companies are smarting up. I saw a commercial that said for new customers, you can pick and choose the channels that you want. But my wife and I, we're going to be going through this again because it's spring. This is what we do in the spring. Is go through all of our expenses again. But other places where you can cut is going to be the first place I see people cut is usually their gym membership. Music subscriptions and telephone bills. Those things add up really, really quick. So look at where you can, just kind of slice and dice. And then one of the last things that I want everyone to do this week is to get a copy of your credit report. Okay. Your credit score is a 3-digit number that lets lenders know how likely you are to pay them back.
Very proud I did that this week.
You got your credit, all 3?
To get ready for this week.
Okay, good. He listens. And it's funny. It's weird because, businesses operate on a whole other level. Right. They don't have to pay back in 30 days like the common folk do. They have terms, and if you ever dealt with a huge company, trying to get your money from them sometimes is pretty difficult. But your credit score is important. Muy importante. Okay, the higher your score, the more likely you'll be to qualify for loans and credit cards at lower interest rates, is what it's really all about. Right. And your credit report is going to provide a snapshot of your overall financial situation. So going through it, and also if you have children, pull their credit reports also. If you have ex-spouses, pull your kid's credit report. If your baby has the same name as your ex-spouse, pull their credit report. Anybody that had access to your kid's social security number, pull that credit report, freeze your kid's credit.
Why?
Well, because people will there was a song about that. What was that song by, it was a Cash Money song about putting a bill in putting a bill in the baby's name or something like that. Yeah. Well, people will apply for utility bills sometimes in their kids' names. Sometimes even ex-spouses, our first show was about financial infidelity. Some people apply for credit cards and they use their spouse, or they'll spouses like to sign for each other and do all that stuff. Right. Yeah, so pull your credit and make sure that you know exactly what's on there. And every year, as consumers, we have the right to a free. I've been speaking Spanish and French this week, and so it's messing me up. To a free credit report every year from each 3 of the major credit bureaus. So you can go online and go to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and you can order your free credit report. And I believe if you're in Georgia, you can do it twice a year.
I had to check that. I know the one free, but I see two in Georgia.
Well, which one are in Georgia? Equifax and Experian?
Yeah.
Okay, so Equifax and Experian, you can ask them for their credit. You can ask for your credit reports, and then still to come, we're going to talk about the company that needs to take that financial fallback, and then we're also going to finish up on the credit, letting you know what to do with your credit report once you get it on Financial Renaissance with the M's.
Everybody successful lays a blueprint out. You laid the blueprint out. I stayed true to my dreams, and by doing that, eventually it came true.
A lot of times, it's like in life, right? Life brings like drama, and you got to deal with this person, and then funky relationship here, and all these things. You try and just kind of balance them out as best I can.
Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, The universe is going to get out your way.
Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what real beasts do.
Unleash your beast. Write your history.
I'm hungry.
It's about that time.
It's about that time. You are listening to and watching on Sensation Station Network on Facebook Live, Financial Renaissance with the M's. I am your host, Emma Foulkes. And that's my co-hostess with the mostest, Emmanuel Glaze.
That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to raise my hands.
The MF
she's
and the
selling and everything. Y'all understand what
Y'all
she's
don't understand.
She's a G around here now.
That's right. That's right. Can we order like Postmates or something? Have them deliver while we're on the air?
I don't know. I got to watch people who deliver now. We got a door ring.
Oh.
You saw that.
Yeah, that.
No drinks. We just get canned sodas.
I've never asked for a drink, but man, if I can't even tell you how that would go down if that happened in front of my house. Hey, that Gemini and that Scorpio will get you. I promise you, will get you.
Yeah, you met a Scorpio too, huh?
Yeah.
Mine too.
Oh, so you have Geminis and Scorpios in the house? Women? Ooh.
I know.
It's like firecrackers.
It's something.
It's something, isn't it? Because one won't back down and one won't shut up.
Yeah. I got two daughters, both are Geminis.
Ooh,
my wife is a Scorpio.
Man, I always say I'm so glad, God, that I had a son. I couldn't imagine having girls in the house, and I apologize to my mom over and over again for everything that I put her through while I was growing up. And, but listen, there's a place where you can get access to your credit reports. It's called annualcreditreport.com.
That's where I went.
And that's the government. That's the government one. They don't advertise on television.
Right.
But if you go to annualcreditreport.com, you can get all 3 of your credit reports. Yep. And, some quick tips for repairing. There's never anything quick about repairing your credit. But one of the things that'll help you is to set up payment reminders, just like you're going to set up a reminder for payday eve, like, oh, time to have that financial talk. Right. Well, you also need to set up payment reminders in your phone. Most of us have smartphones. If it's not your smartphone, do it on your computer, your desktop, your laptop, whatever device you have, or write it in a calendar if you're old school. And then you want to find a way to reduce the amount of debt that you owe. So if all of your credit cards are maxed out, instead of focusing on paying them all off, look at trying to reduce the amount that you have. So if you have a $5,000 limit, try to get that down to $3,500 or $3,000, and get them all down to about half of what you owe, and that'll help boost up your score. The other thing, and this goes especially to young people, credit is one of those things we weren't taught in school. Well, I don't know if they're teaching it now, but we definitely weren't. I didn't know what it was. Right? Once you mess up with your payments, they sell it to a collection agency, right? And the thing that I'll tell you is beware that paying off a collection account, if those collection people start calling you, talk to, a financial person, talk to somebody that that's really smart about finances, but if you pay off that collection account, it's not going to remove it off your credit report.
It stays on there.
It stays on there. So I would say, you need to talk to somebody before you pay off those, before. I can't tell you not to pay it, but, you could say it.
Yeah. Just talk to someone.
Yeah,
because, if you pay it off, it stays on. They have a year when they say it's going to drop off.
No, it's 7 years.
Yeah, so it's 7 years. It's still going to stay.
It's still going to stay on there.
And the collection agency just got that money.
Yeah, so I would contact, the original creditor and let them know that you're sending the money to them. But I would not pay a collection agency. Once once the collection agency has that account, the company that you were originally dealing with has written it off, and they sell it. So let's say you owed $1,000 to XYZ company. They're going to sell that debt for pennies on the dollar to a collection agency, and the collection agency bought that debt for, say, maybe $200, and they're going to try to get that $1,000 from you. So listen, just contact the company that you owe. Still try to work it out with them. If you can pay them, pay them. Do not pay the collection agencies, and don't let those people jam your phone up and threaten you and all that stuff, because that's another one where people could catch hands, especially if they're here in Atlanta. Got to be respectful. Yeah, in 250 seconds, we're going to be talking about our top 5 stories of the week, and also who our financial fallback on Financial Renaissance with the M's.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
No
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, beyond differences in I Keep Safe, we're looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
It is Sean Prime from Inside the Loop with myself and Brenna B, and I've been talking about Jeans Body Tech for a minute simply because it's a premier gym and a pristine spot without a premium price. All the weight you need, all the machines you want, free parking, all in Buckhead. Come on, it's crazy. 700 Miami Circle is where you want to work out today. And for those who are feeling a little bit down because you may not have followed through on the healthy New Year resolution thing, hey, it's still the new year. You can start today. Look at yourself a year from now and hello, is that you? Because you're looking good, like snack-like. Yes, you are. 700 Miami Circle, or go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech, also known as JBT Fitness. Either way, $49 is nothing to pay to feel your best every day.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish that.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Energizing a nation, one listener at a time. It's SSNATL.com. Radio that's not dumbed down.
We're back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. I'm always playing like the cool songs. Like,
I think you like the DJ, man.
I think so. I'm feeling that. Listen, we are talking today about how to empower your family and your financial house this morning. And we are going to talk right now about which company should take a financial time out.
Which one should take a time out?
Yeah, as a business owner, I'm really saddened by this story because I really try to buy local and keep, you know, if I have to spend money, I want to do it in my neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And, you know, I really try not to order stuff off Amazon unless it's absolutely necessary. So I'm going to say shame on you, Office Depot.
Ooh.
Okay, shame on you. If you've ever taken your computer to one of those big box tech support stores, you know, and you come back, you get your computer back, and you're like, what in the heck did they do to my computer? You know, it happened to us, and I'm going to apologize to my wife, Patrina, right now because I'm always thinking that she's being melodramatic because she took her computer in, got it back, and she's like, it's just not working right. And I'm thinking, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm always like, it's Trina's fault. Trina doesn't know what she's talking about. Right. But it turns out she was right. Office Depot is required now to pay over $35 million over claims that it lied to their customers about malware infections over a 7-year period.
Wow.
Okay. $35 million between Office Depot, Office Max, and a company called Support.com. So the Federal Trade Commissions, they are saying that they faked malware reports that trick customers into paying millions of dollars for computer repairs that were not necessary. Office Depot and Office Max used a program called PC Health, and it was a free tool that you could put on your computer, and it would diagnose to see if there was any problems or malware plaguing your device.
PC Health, yes.
And it would ask you a series of questions like, you know, is your computer crashing? Are you getting pop-ups? Is your computer, you know, running at slower speeds?
Trina's laughing at you.
And does your computer seem to have any viruses? And if you said yes to any of those questions, okay, it would tell you, it would prompt kind of this view recommendation prompt, and it would offer these services that Office Max or Office Depot had where they could fix these problems for you for hundreds of dollars. So nothing would have been wrong with your computer. So if you ever took your computer to Office Depot or Office Max and they fixed your computer or told you that you had a malware incident, go ahead and go to FTC.franktomcharlie.gov and see about getting some of your money back. Now, what's crazy?
FTC.gov.
FTC.gov. What's crazy about this is both Office Depot and Support.com were aware of complaints about their software way back to 2012.
Wow.
But they continued using the software and encouraging their employees to advertise it to their customers up until 2016. So for 4 years, they knew what they were doing was wrong, and they continued to do it. So again, we talked about money and where we spend our money, who we spend our money with. You know, as consumers, especially when it comes to this new box that we put in our houses that controls everything, we have a hard enough time protecting ourselves from, you know, the internet's like the Wild Wild West, right? There's no real sheriff, there's no real anything out there, and there's a lot of bad players out there. And so when you have a company that, you know, purposely tells you that something's wrong, you know, it's like a misdiagnosis.
Because, you know, we all freak out about our computer and getting our information stolen from us. So for them to use that to get people to run in, they knew it was going to happen. People was going to run in and, you know, I'm going to do it. I'm like, I'm scared. I'm like, God, you know, something could be wrong with my computer. That's, y'all, shame on y'all.
Yes.
Very much shame on y'all. That's terrible.
Repent. You got to sit in the corner for a while. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over this, but I usually, you know, when I'm spending money, I go to Office Depot because, you know, you could order your stuff online and then you could just go pick it up so you don't even have to walk around the store. So anything that provides convenience to me, I try to do it. And I want to make sure that, you know, some of the kids still have jobs. Some people who are retired, you know, there's different people that end up working at these stores, and I want to make sure that people still have jobs that live in my neighborhood. People have jobs in your neighborhood, they're less likely to
do other things.
So I try to keep the people employed.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
But
then you hear stuff like this, you be like, man, you
know,
ride by the store like.
Yeah, like you getting a large side eye for me. It's going to happen for a while, so I don't know how long I'm going to have Office Depot on punishment. Coming up, on Financial Renaissance with the M's, we are going to jump into our top 5 financial news stories this week.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, talk, touch their hair. Details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones we carry with us every day. Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Honey, what you cook for dinner tonight?
Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
The bad news first.
I cooked nothing.
Well, that's the good news then.
Uh-huh. Well, there's no bad news then because tonight we're going to have Jerk Palace.
Call Jerk Palace for authentic Caribbean cuisine, including vegetarian entrees with authentic Caribbean flavor. Call 770-892-5049. Located at 6221 Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 in Morrow, Georgia.
Jerk Palace. Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Me? Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It is Sean Prime from Inside the Loop with myself and Brenna B, and I've been talking about Jeans Body Tech for a minute simply because it's a premier gym in a pristine spot without a premium price. All the weight you need, all the machines you want, free parking, all in Buckhead. Come on, it's crazy. 700 Miami Circle is where you want to work out today. And for those who are feeling a little bit down because you may not have followed through on the healthy New Year resolution thing, hey, it's still the new year. You can start today. Look at yourself a year from now and hello, is that you? Because you're looking good, like snack-like. Yes, you are. 700 Miami Circle, or go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech, also known as JBT Fitness. Either way, $49 is nothing to pay to feel your best every day.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
With Financial Renaissance with the M's, you can join in the conversation You can make some civil comments on Facebook at Sensation Station Network, or you can text us at 678-613-5857.
Get some uncivil ones?
Well, I was going to say, feel free to make uncivil comments via tweet. You can tweet me at Emma Knows Money. I'm learning how to become get greasy on Twitter. I'm learning how to become real greasy. It's the French and the Spanish. I'm telling you, it's messing up my diction. But yeah, you can reach us on Twitter. We're at MSaidIt. I'm also at Emma Knows Money on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, I have a YouTube channel where I throw the shows up there every once in a while too. But yeah, we were talking about Office Depot, and I guess we off the air we had a lot of conversations about the disappointment in Office Depot, Office Max, and Support.com. Like that's a pretty crappy thing to do, especially thinking that back in 2012 we were still coming out of the recession. So a lot of people's money was tight, and people that did not have anything wrong with their computer were told that they did have malware issues, and were basically sold nothing. So you spent a couple $100 that you could have used for your kid, a couple $100 that you could have used for a bill, a couple $100 that you could have used for food, but instead you paid Office Depot some money. So they are going to be on my financial timeout for right now. And speaking of computers, we're going to jump into our the first part of our top 5 financial news stories of this week. Speaking of computers, we all know that computers are more than just electronic typewriters. Right, glorified typewriters, word processors. Some of us, our parents don't know what the heck to do with them. Some of us, we can't get our parents off of them. Some people's whole lives are on their computers. Their whole life.
All of it.
All of it. I just learned that someone had 4 terabytes of music on an external hard drive.
Wow.
Because I was wondering, wasn't that in the cloud? I guess you can't put 4 terabytes in the cloud.
That's a lot.
Right, that's a lot. But I want to give a major thanks to Microsoft for pioneering a way to stop foreign governments from waging cyber war on us. And when I say us, it could be the U.S., the United States, us. It's all the same thing. Microsoft says that it found that Iranian hackers were targeting United States agencies, companies, and Middle East advocates. And this is like, this is corporate espionage at its finest. I don't know if you ever, saw a Tom Clancy movie, those Jack Ryan movies, or, the Jason Bourne stuff. But this story reads like a Tom Clancy novel or a Robert Ludlum novel. Just the layers of ridiculousness trapped in here. And a lot of times people, when you talk to people at work about something called phishing, being careful about the websites that you're going to, being careful about the emails that you click on. It's very easy to get tricked, even on LinkedIn. So what Microsoft did was they went to our government and they said, hey, we have found that there are about 99 websites that are being used to launch cyber attacks against government agencies, businesses, and users in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And this is, all public record. It's on Microsoft's website, on their blog posts, and it's also in unsealed court documents. Okay, so that means that this really happened. So a federal judge gave Microsoft the approval to seize 99 websites. Okay, meaning took them right off the air. And Microsoft disabled these websites on March 15th because they had been tracking these websites for over 6 years.
Wow.
So this is kind of a twofold thing. For 6 years, you've been watching these people do this nefarious stuff to us, and it took 6 years to get a judge to say, go ahead and get it. So imagine all of the stuff that just kind of went away.
Wow.
Right. So these sites were being used in a years-long spear phishing campaign that targeted corporations, government agencies, as well as activists and journalists. Okay. So as long as you were advocating any issue related to the Middle East, you were on that target list. And in these attacks, what the hackers did was they sent out emails and they used social media posts with the aim of infiltrating computer systems by tricking the victims into visiting phony websites. So like phony Microsoft websites or phony Yahoo websites. And so when you go to websites, if you're on a site and you see something that you like, and you have to remember the rest of the world knows how racially divided we are in our country right now. So they're gonna trick you with like clickbait, get you to click on stuff, but it's not the real thing that you should be clicking on. I definitely want you guys to join in this conversation because it's something that you need, information that you need to share with your family. We're dropping gems today on Financial Renaissance with the M's. Next up, we'll talk about our other 4 stories, news stories for the week.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the app.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Already coaching? Everybody's a coach these days. I get it. Life coach, relationship coach, financial coach. But you want to be a coach with integrity. So get certified and do it the right way. Or add coaching to the work that you already do. Join a cohort or take classes at your own pace. We have knowledgeable instructors. We have a life-changing curriculum. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com to learn more.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, beyond differences in I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Don't just sing the song. I'm living my best life. Do it. And we're here to help with Smart Talk. From programs like this, your nation's urban station, online, on ssnatl.com.
And we're back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. I am your host, Emma Foulkes, and we're here with Emmanuel Glaze.
Yep.
And we are talking about our top 5 stories, financial stories for the week.
That's right.
And we want you to make a comment.
Comment us, man. You know, right now, you can always follow the show right now on Facebook. It's the station. Comment. But you also follow the show.
Follow
on
the
Twitter.
show.
Ems said it.
EMMS.
Ems.
Ems.
Said it. Also on Instagram, you can follow us at Financial Renaissance with the M's. And also on Facebook, Financial Renaissance with the M's. And if you want to just go off on her, Emma Knows Money.
On Twitter.
Go off.
Yeah. And
What'd you say, uncivil?
Uncivil. For your uncivil commentary, you can go to Emma Knows Money. And if I get stuck, I'll have to reach for my Scorpio. I have to let the Scorpio, because I'm not going to lose.
She will not lose, like Jay-Z.
Yeah, I will not lose. Well, actually, she won't let me lose. So even if I lose, my wife's going to come back.
Hey, follow us, man. Get all the comments in, and, you know, we got your answers. She'll find it. She will not lose.
Yeah. So before the break, we were talking about Microsoft. We talked about Office Depot and kind of what they did, but we also, given a major shout out to Microsoft for protecting us, and they were actually the first company that got a federal judge to say it's okay to take a website down.
Pretty big.
So they have pioneered. They are now the sheriffs on the interweb.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. I mean, don't hear that much, but to give them that power to do that, but they did. You say it's a year-long investigation.
Yeah.
With this, and they were able to find this, and they, like I said, there are court documents that show that they were able to show it.
Yeah, and then these nefarious people were also using platforms like Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. So for them, it's about they were creating these deep social engineering campaigns, and unfortunately, when we're on our computers, we don't pay attention to every little letter. And so now I've had to have my staff be very careful when they're clicking on an email, like to hover over it and make sure that it is actually, what we think it is. Yep. If we see anything wrong with it, we just don't click on it. We delete it. We'll call that person like, hey, resend that email or, what have you. But be very, very careful on social media sites. Be very careful if you're on a site and then you try to, you see an ad to go to, Yahoo or to go to Google or to go to something else. You may not be going to that particular site.
Right.
So always type stuff in yourself. Figure out how to use some different password managers so that you're not exposing yourself or exposing your company. So talk to your IT person. Again, thank you, Microsoft, for pioneering countering malicious cyber activity through the courts. I like that. Yeah. Next story, I think you're going to have a deep appreciation for this because you have such a kind heart.
I see him in my laundry room.
Yeah. So there's a principal in West Side High School in Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, and he has created a room called the Big Room. Yeah. And in that room, they have 5 industrial-sized washers and dryers. Big. And in this big room, as it's called, they have hundreds of donated bottles of laundry detergent, fabric softener, dryer sheets. They have deodorant. They have, I guess the kids wear a semblance of a uniform. They have pants, if kids need pants. And the reason why he did this is because the kids weren't coming to school. They weren't coming to school because their clothes were dirty. And if they, you come to school and your clothes are dirty, people are going to mess with you. Yeah. And so the kids were focusing on the wrong thing. Everyone, in his words, everyone wants the kids to focus on high test scores. They want them to perform well. But how can a kid perform well if they don't have the confidence to just come to school?
When you walk in the door, you get attacked because of what you're wearing or how it looks.
How it looks, right? Yeah. How it looks, how it smells. So he has eliminated that from the equation, and it has changed the scores. It has changed everything at that school. The other thing that Akbar Cook is doing and that I really love is he started a program called Lights On, and he keeps the school open from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Fridays during the school year and 3 nights a week in the summer. And he did that because a lot of these kids, their parents are working multiple jobs and aren't home. And what better way to give the kids a safe place to be and, for them to socialize than being out on the block. Right. And, for those of you that have, any of you that have been out on the block, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes down before your parents come home.
Right.
And so this is a safe space for the kids. And so I'm going to be putting up a link if you want to donate to the school by, they have an Amazon page. Yep. You can go ahead and order some stuff. And what does this have to do with money? Everything. We take for granted that people have access to basic needs. When our babies, after they're born, we can care about babies while they're in the womb, but after the womb, post-womb, there are kids that don't have basic needs, and we want to make sure those needs are being filled.
Finding solutions, and this is what he's finding.
Thank you.
Great job, Mr. Cook.
Great job. And then our Atlanta native Clifford Harris, better known as TIP. Yes, he is backing a startup that is going to be giving free mobile service for low-income communities. There's a partnership between Moolah Mobile and Surge Phone Wireless. Moolah, cha-ching. And they are going to be providing free talks, text, and data to an estimated 1 million users in select United States. And so the states that I think we're looking at, of course, is going to be Georgia, Florida, Virginia, and Texas. The goal is going to be for them to expand to other territories in phases. And they're looking at rolling out this year, doing a rollout of about 40,000 locations. So I think that, that's a pretty special thing. What I will say to the CEO, Brian Cox of Surge, and the CEO, Vernal Woods of Moolah Mobile, don't be a Zuckerberg. Don't be a Zuckerberg. Like, what you're doing is a good thing, and there's always a lot of great ideas. Don't get greedy. Right. If you're going to be servicing, lower income people, don't take advantage of them.
And what's good about this is in 2019, you got to have mobile service to be able to do some things.
Right.
And our underserved people were struggling to do that. So now with this, it gives them a chance to, I think I said, for lack of a better term, catch up or be in the mix.
Yeah, it does, because think about the people that don't have banks
in their neighborhood, right? It's those check cashing places and all these
places.
But now you can do banking on your phone. You know what I mean? So they're doing this. They're doing stuff like this in Africa and other third world countries. So yeah, we should be doing it in our lower income communities here. Absolutely. And the last story on the list is we have an NFL player. You brought him up. An NFL player, Brandon Copeland with the New York Jets, who saves almost all of his salary. He's teaching a class at UPenn, a class called Life 101, where he's sharing his best money advice. And this, I guess he's a linebacker. Is that defense?
Yeah, defensive.
Okay, linebacker. He has a Wall Street background. He runs his own real estate business, and he's teaching this financial literacy class. So this is no shut up and play, whatever that disrespectful stuff is that they say to these guys. So he runs a real estate company with his wife. And one of the things that I like about him is that he saves nearly all of his salary.
Which is around 1.2.
About 1.2 million. And he is also one of those that thinks that people need to track all of their expenses. He says to think about every single dollar. Don't think about your income. Think about how much money is spent. Find out where every dollar is going first and foremost.
You sound like what you were talking about earlier with Wrinkly.
Yeah, exactly. So when so as I was doing my research, and I'm like, oh wow, this guy is kind of we're simpatico. Right? We're simpatico. Right. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get him.
Yeah, we were.
Well, that's your job.
But you know what? It's just great to hear stories like this. We talked about a little bit between the break before we started. Gronkowski, Rob Gronkowski is retiring.
Yeah.
He never spent a dollar of his salary.
Right, and people want to teach
him, and you know, there's always a lot of negative stuff said about athletes.
Right.
You know, but then we've got even oh my gosh, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is a beast, man.
He spent endorsement and never spent the NBA,
never spent his NBA money. He spent his endorsement money.
That's why I'm glad you decided to bring this up, because other athletes need to hear this too. And they don't need to just be like, man, no, there are guys out there who can show you how to do it.
Yes, and Shaquille O'Neal, I believe he's a doctor now.
Yeah.
I believe he's a doctor. He is now going to become the face of Papa John's. Yeah. Still not eating it. No, y'all still on my financial timeout. Yeah, y'all, it needs to be Papa Shaq Fu. What was his fruit Snickers name?
Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu.
That's right. That's right.
It become a Chinese pizza shop.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, well, there is a lot of. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you said, Shaq.
There's a lot of great examples out there to show you, the right things to do with your money. Yeah. From just because you're making money doesn't mean that you need to spend it all. If you like the finer things in life, your investments should be paying for that stuff. Absolutely. Or you come up with a side hustle. Again, the recession is coming up. So if the recession is coming up, if you know that the things in the economy are going to be a little wonky, it's an opportunity for a come up for you. And so take this time now to focus in this next week to pay down your debt, figure out how to get a grip on the debt that you have, even if that means getting another job. And getting another job could be as simple as delivering food. It could be as simple as, doing one of those ride services, car riding services. A lot of one of the biggest online retailers also has delivery programs. So there's a lot of jobs that you can get, part-time jobs where you can tailor it around your schedule as opposed to given a schedule that you can't handle. And, pay down the debt that you have and also save money. Save money, get to that, at least 3 months of living expenses set aside, and then the rest of the money, save it for opportunities. When other people are like freaking out about the economy, that could be a come up for you. Other people's emergencies can be good for you. You know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Get it going, man. Because I think. Are y'all listening to Emma?
Are you listening to me?
Not really.
Okay.
No, yeah, I am. No, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all right. He doesn't have to listen to me. His wife is listening.
Why you got to bring up the wife?
Hi, Jennifer.
Why you bring up the wife? Let me ask you this: when you hear stories like this, and when you're going through the top 5 stories, which one out of the 5 that you really resonated with you this week? Because
of Financial Literacy Month, it's going to have to be Brandon Copeland. It's going to have to be what he's done with his money, and not only just what he's doing with his money, his way of giving back to the community. Because, you know, we all need examples of people doing right.
Right.
And so when you look at someone like, you know, an NFL star, you know, that's out, that could have anything that they want, but they're living very frugally and they're doing the right things with their money. I mean, it's a great thing. It is a great thing. Listen, coming up on Financial Renaissance, we have Emma Knows Money, our Emma Knows Money, and I'm going to teach you how to make your kids financially responsible.
It's that time.
You use Tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. I want to be a world fleece on a cold day. I want to be a football stadium. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Honey, what you cook for dinner tonight?
You want the good news or the bad news first?
The bad news first.
I cooked nothing.
Well, that's the good news then.
Uh-huh. Well, there's no bad news then, because tonight we're going to have Jerk Palace.
Call Jerk Palace for authentic Caribbean cuisine, including vegetarian entrees with authentic Caribbean flavor. Call 770-892-5049. Located at 6221 Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 in Morrow, Georgia. Jerk Palace.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything. I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor. If making my detox public is going to help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth. Spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity.
So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Hey, welcome back to Financial Renaissance with the M's. It's your boy E. Glaze, and you know what time it is. Every Sunday, it's about that time to do a little learning about our money. It's Emma Knows Money. Emma, you ready?
I'm ready, and it's not even about us. Today's Emma Knows Money is about pocket humans. Pocket humans. How do you make your kids? I'm going to give you 5 tips. So we as adults have 5 things that we need to work on this week. There's 5 things that you need to do with your kids this week. Number 1. You need to replace the chore chart or replace money requests with a chore chart. So if your kids are asking you for money, we can't work for free as grown-ups, right? So if you can't work for free, you can work for free. It was called slavery. But we can't get money for free without working for it. So you have to do the same thing with your kids. Make sure that if your kids want money or you're going to be giving them money on a consistent basis, that there are tasks assigned to the amount of money. The other thing is you want to calibrate their payments with real data. So if they're going to be babysitting, what is the fee for babysitting? If they're going to be cutting the grass, how much? So each chore should have a dollar amount assigned to it based on the severity or the labor intensity of the task. You know, back in the day, we had my son lift cinder blocks from one side of the yard to the other, but it's because he liked labor, because he liked to make money. The other thing is make sure that you have consequences just in case a kid doesn't do a chore. If they don't do something, then there's no reason for them to be getting paid. It's just like if you don't show up for work, you don't get paid. Same thing. If you don't want to do your chores, and for a parent, it helps eliminate the arguments. There's nothing to discuss. If you didn't make your bed 5 days for the week, then you don't get your $1.25. And I'm talking about the little ones. Whatever that dollar amount is, if they don't do the task, they don't get the money. Another tip is pay your kids, especially the teenagers, to brown bag it for lunch. So if you're in the habit of giving them lunch money and they're looking at if there's something that they want to save up for, kind of give them some of that money if they look at reducing the overall expenses by making their own lunch, whether it's PB&J, whatever it is. But give them a couple bucks, have them go to the grocery store and get what they need for lunch, but let them make that, and then whatever was, like, let's say you give them, $50 a week, and, I'm a little different, but let's say it's $50 a week you give them for lunch, and you end up giving them 20 so that they can go out and buy stuff and brown bag it, then that $30 should go to them. That way, you're kind of paying them for brown bagging it. And then the last thing, and we talked about this, was make your kids do the dirty work. A lot of times people end up getting dogs because these kids claim that they're going to clean up the doggy poo and that they're going to walk the dogs and they're going to do all this stuff with the dogs, and they don't do it. If a child is getting an allowance or getting any money from you, they need to do the dirty work. Okay, that's the bottom line. Kids have to get their hands dirty. They have to learn. It's not like in the 1800s where they were in the coal mines getting black lung. No, all they got to do is clean up some doggy poo, learn how to do their laundry, learn how to clean up after themselves. So if replace the chores. Like if they get an allowance, make sure they have a chore list. Make sure that each chore is assigned a different dollar amount. So if they're washing dishes, it's one price. If they're outside sweating, raking, and mowing the lawn, it's another fee. Make sure that there's consequences when they don't do their chore. If they don't do their chores, they don't get money, okay? And then for the teenagers or kids who are able to make their own lunch, make sure if they're able to brown bag it that they get some of that money. And then pay your kids, make them do some of that dirty work. Pay your kids to do your dirty work or their dirty work. Those are my 5 tips that you can work on with your kids for the week on Financial Renaissance with the M's.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
And we are back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. We have been here reminiscing about being young and some of the stuff that our parents have done. Listen, this was a great show today. I hope, did you learn something?
A little bit. I don't really listen to you. Nah, just joking.
You
I learned a lot.
You learn a lot. And Jennifer is listening.
Yeah, so I have to listen.
Yes.
Hey, I think one thing I want everybody to understand is I love the fact when spring comes, like you're telling everybody, spring clean.
Spring clean. Spring clean.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You always want your house to be nice and all that, but you want nice things in your house. This is a great time to spring clean.
Yeah, and then the cool thing about April is you should have recovered from the holidays.
Right.
And this holidays, a lot of people there was some government shutdowns, and the government shutdown had a ripple effect for small business owners. It had a ripple effect throughout the country, and so now we're in April. The economy is starting to show signs and symptoms of a possible cold. And one of the things that we need to understand is that in different communities, the black community, the brown community, the Asian communities, a lot of times when America has a cold, we end up with the flu. Right. So we need to just like with everything else, we have to be extremely diligent and make sure that we're doing the right things with our money to survive.
I mean, that's very important because that's, like you said, there's something come on the way.
Something, yes.
We don't know when.
We don't know when.
But you got to be prepared.
We won't know until we're in it that we're in it. That's the beauty.
Excuse me.
You have a cold or the flu?
I think it might.
It's the pollen, man. Oh my gosh. For those of you not in Georgia, it's the pollening season. And I'm going to post a picture later on. I took a picture of my neighbor's car across the street. They have a black SUV. and the whole top of it, I was looking like, oh, is that the sunlight reflecting? No, it wasn't sunlight reflecting. It was just this green, gritty. I mean, it's bad. Like, you can taste it. It's in your eyes. Like, ugh.
It's that time.
It's that time.
And we don't know what temperature it is today. It could be 50 today. Georgia, we don't know. We just walk outside with a coat.
We got a bipolar weather here in Atlanta.
We walk out with shorts and a coat and saying which one we're going to use and see what happens.
Listen, for those of you with children, whether you have children in your home, whether you have godchildren, if you know a little person, please have their parents do what needs to be done so that they grow up and that they appreciate the dollar, the value of a dollar. If they have to work for it, they're not going to be asking you for money all the time. They need to know they need to know a lot of things, but the biggest thing is making them clean up their own dirty work.
Also, you heard Emma talk about you don't have to get rid of what you love.
No.
You have to. You should prioritize what you love. And if that's something you want to do, because some people, they thrive off Starbucks every morning.
Yeah, and if that's your thing, that's just your thing, you know. Yeah. And so next week we're going to go into 5 other things that you should be working on the following week. So this week, you know, you just want to start tracking your expenses. You want to make a decision that you want to do better financially, or you want to clean stuff up financially. And then, you know, make sure you wire in payday eve meetings, you know, whether it's just you and your spouse with a glass of wine, and then just kind of go through all of your expenses, figure out what you can shed, what you can reduce, what you can do differently. And I would even say if you have children, you know, bring them in on the conversation. Like once, you know, if you're married, once you and your spouse kind of get things to a good point, then bring your kids in on it. Yeah. I think one of the disservices that we do to our children is they're not hearing a lot of these money conversations, and so they're absolutely clueless when it comes to money. And we have to raise people who are really astute when it comes to financial things, so that they don't get themselves hosed up when they go to college, so that they understand the value of the dollar, you know, when it comes to you. Right. Or do what I did, charge them interest. They'll learn about the value of the dollar real quick.
I met her son. Them interest payments hurt.
That's right, that's right. Listen, this was a good show today.
Yeah, you're not gonna. First time in a while for me. Yeah. I've been back. But, you know, I always pay attention like my wife does. We always looking at Emma over here and seeing what she's doing. You know, you got to watch Emma sometime.
Yeah.
You know. And by the way, we talked about her article, and congratulations on the article.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, you and your wife Trina out there doing what y'all do, and 14 years. Huh?
14 years. And coming up, we have Smooth Sensational Jazz.
I think that's what we're doing.
I think that's what we're doing. And then connecting the dots with Lee Watts at 4 o'clock. We will see you right here next week.